Neanderthals disappeared 40,000 years ago, except a piece of them is reading this. It's inside you right now. For hundreds of thousands of years, we were not the only kind of human on Earth. Neanderthals were here first. Stocky, strong, big-brained, they hunted mammoths across Ice Age Europe, made tools, controlled fire, cared for their sick, and buried their dead. They were not the shambling brutes of the cartoons. They were us, a different edition of us. And then, around 40,000 years ago, they were gone. So for over a century, everyone asked the same dramatic question. What killed the Neanderthals? Was it war? Did our ancestors hunt them down? Was it a plague, or the climate, or simply that we were cleverer? People wanted a murder mystery with a single villain. But the real story turned out to be far stranger, and honestly, far more intimate. Because here's the twist that rewrote everything. They never fully left. When scientists finally managed to read Neanderthal DNA from ancient bones and compare it to ours, they found something astonishing. If your ancestry lies anywhere outside sub-Saharan Africa, you are, right now, carrying roughly 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA in every cell of your body. They're not a separate story, they're in the book. And that DNA got there the obvious way. Our two kinds of human met, and they had children together. A recent study from Berkeley in 2024 pinned down the main chapter of this. The big wave of interbreeding began around 50,500 years ago and carried on for something like 7,000 years. That's not one chance encounter. That's 7,000 years of two human species living side by side and starting families. Which points to a completely different kind of ending. Picture the numbers. Modern humans came pouring out of Africa in huge growing populations. The Neanderthals were always far fewer, scattered in small, often isolated groups. Now, mix two populations together, one enormous and one tiny, generation after generation. The small one doesn't get wiped out. It gets diluted, absorbed. Its bloodline slowly swallowed by the bigger one, until, as a separate people, it simply fades from view. Scientists call this the assimilation model, and it reframes the whole thing. Under this view, the Neanderthals weren't so much exterminated as married off out of existence. They didn't lose a war, they were genetically outnumbered. Every time a Neanderthal had a child with a modern human, a little more of their lineage crossed over into ours, and a little less remained purely theirs. Now, you might reasonably ask, if they were blending into us, why did they still vanish as their own people? And the answer is that absorption was only part of it. Their small, scattered groups were already fragile. Long Ice Age climate swings battered their habitat. Inbreeding weakened isolated bands, and they were competing for the same food and land as a much larger, fast-spreading population. Blending was the gentle thread running through a much harsher unraveling. And the handover may have been far calmer than the murder mystery version suggests. In 2026, researchers working at a cave called Ukagizli, in what is now Turkey, reported more than 20,000 years of continuous culture across the exact period when Neanderthals gave way to modern humans. The same styles of stone tools, the same animals hunted for food. No sudden break, no layer of ash and violence. Just one way of life quietly flowing into the next. And they weren't even the only vanished humans hiding in our DNA. There was another group, the Denisovans, known mostly from a few scraps of bone and their genetic fingerprint. They interbred with us too. And in some populations, particularly people from Melanesia and Aboriginal Australians, Denisovan DNA runs even higher, around 2 to 4%. We are, all of us, a blend of more kinds of human than one. Which leads to a genuinely mind-bending fact. There is more Neanderthal DNA alive on Earth today than there ever was when Neanderthals themselves were alive. Think about it. There were never very many of them. But that 1 to 2% is now spread across billions of living people. Add up all those tiny fractions, and the total amount of Neanderthal genetic material walking around today utterly dwarfs anything from their own era. In sheer quantity, they are more here now than they ever were. Now, I should be honest about the edges. We know they interbred, and we know they faded. What we still argue about is the exact recipe. How much was climate? How much was raw numbers? How much was inbreeding? How much was simple absorption? The precise weighting of the causes is still genuinely debated. The murder mystery has no single culprit because it was never really a murder. So did the Neanderthals vanish or did they blend into us? The honest and slightly beautiful answer is both at the same time. As a distinct people, they slipped away, worn down by cold and numbers and time. But as a lineage, they never truly ended. They were folded into the winners. Every time you catch a cold and fight it off, or feel the sun on your skin, some of the genes doing that work were handed to you by a Neanderthal tens of thousands of years ago. So no, the Neanderthals didn't just die out. They moved in, and they never left. That's one of our oldest family secrets, opened up. There are hundreds more of these little mysteries hiding in the most ordinary corners of the world, and we're working through every single one. Next time, a genuine Stone Age puzzle. How wolves ended up on an island they could never possibly have swum to. Same channel, same little man, checking his own DNA.